The next executive order, fact sheet, President Donald J. Trump ensures military excellence and readiness. Now,
oh boy.
What does this look like in practice? Okay. So the executive order will require the Secretary of Defense to do the following: update all Department of Defense medical standards to ensure they prioritize readiness and lethality, take action to end the use of invented and identification-based pronouns in the Department of Defense. The executive order also prohibits males from using or sharing, sleeping, changing, or bathing in facilities designed for females.
Yes.
The executive order revokes Biden administration executive order 14004. For anyone curious what that is, it's for accommodating gender identity in the military to the detriment of military readiness and unit cohesion. Another good part from the Q&A that I'll share here, which talk about a revolution of common sense. Consistent with the military mission and longstanding DoD policy, expressing a false gender identity divergent from an individual's sex cannot satisfy the rigorous standards necessary for military service.
Yep.
Beyond the hormonal and surgical medical interventions involved, adoption of a gender identity inconsistent with an individual's sex conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle, even in one's personal life. A man's assertion that he is a woman and his requirement that others honor this falsehood is not consistent with the humility and selflessness required of a service.
Could not be better written. That is
it was
majestic.
Perfect. Who wrote this one? This was so well written.
I should add, as Mary Margaret Allahan noted, when the Obama administration conducted its 2016 study on trans-identifying service troops, it found that service members who underwent gender transition surgeries would not be deployable for about 238 days or 34 weeks. Like that right there, it's like, you're not, time out. No, why would we pay for this? And then why would we give you like 2/3 of a year off? This is
you get
absolute
9 months off.
Insanity.
The insanity is, and then pretend that somehow makes us more lethal or prepared.
Right.
Yeah, better. It makes us better.
Somehow. Mm-hmm. So it's like a double strength.
I think like what this and then the end of DEI under Pete Hegseth is really revealing is just how divorced from reality our military became under the Biden administration. That we would have these, you would have men and women coming back from combat situations in Afghanistan where they've been under fire. They've been throwing themselves on grenades for each other. They're a cohesive unit. They get back to their military base in the U.S. for some recovery, and they get a lecture on how the white guys hate the black guys unconsciously. I mean, this is the divorce from what actually goes on in combat under the military. There's a great piece in the Free Press today, just kind of digging into what these men and women were experiencing when they came back from combat and they were forced to undergo all this, you have to call Admiral Levine a she now and stuff like that, it's so contrary to reality. And you're just like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Is this even real? And now that we're getting some restoration of common sense and it feels like a revolution, you're like, well, gosh, we were so far gone that this feels like, whoa, what a concept that we're not going to have men pretending to be women in these military situations. It's
another win.
Yes.
From the White House, protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. Now, again, quick read out on this. Across the country today, medical professionals are maiming and sterilizing a growing number of impressionable children under the radical and false claim that adults can change a child's sex through a series of irreversible medical interventions. This is dangerous and will be a stain on our nation's history, and it must end. Countless children soon regret that they have been mutilated and begin to grasp the horrifying tragedy that they will never be able to conceive children of their own or nurture their children through breastfeeding. Moreover, these vulnerable use medical bills may rise throughout their lifetimes as they are often trapped with lifelong medical complications, a losing war with their own bodies, and tragically sterilization. Accordingly, it is the policy of the United States that it will not fund, sponsor, promote, assist, or support the so-called transition of a child from one sex to another, and it will rigorously enforce all laws that prohibit or limit these destructive and life-altering procedures.
Yes. Sanity. A losing war with their own bodies. That is so well put. And I think that this whole statement is so, again, whoever's writing these so well articulated what's at stake, that this is not like, oh, we're trying to like erase trans people or kill trans children and blah, 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 blah. This is to save the children. Just like the focus of all the ICE and the immigration reforms and the immigration enforcement needs to be, we want those children found and saved. And all the focus of ending our PEPFAR and our exporting abortion across the world focus on the children. And this is, I love this statement so much. This is great. And I hope it can be effective all over. I also loved that it includes a measure for young people who have been harmed by the adults in their lives through this to get restitution later on. They can file complaints and lawsuits. So great measure. I hope it is effective. And I hope that Congress can act on this as well, so we can get something permanent, so that when the Democrats come back into the White House, it's not just automatically reversed. We get this back and forth and whiplash. We need Congress to take the initiative and actually get something permanent done here.
Well, that's
so
like,
refreshing.
for all these things, like transgender soldiers, the Biden administration done, like, promoting transgender surgery on kids, promoting abortion at every turn, like having healthcare.gov, reproductiverights.gov, whatever, all these different things that the Biden administration spending money absolutely, completely, and totally recklessly, like, and then like, okay, avian flu, like, let's just kill every chicken. I mean, like,
oh my
the
gosh,
extreme measures that the Biden administration would do on everything. You're like, honestly, if you wanted to destroy a country, could you have done better than Biden
I don't
did?
think I could have planned it better.
I mean,